Well, according to Ryan Wilson, Penei Sewell could go as high as number 2 overall in the NFL draft. Now, even though he opted out of the 2020 season, some regarding the Oregon offensive tackle as a potential generational talent. During his sophomore season, Sewell didn't allow a single sack in 13 games. At 6'5", 330, his talent described as jaw-dropping. Taking a look at Ryan Wilson's top 5 offensive tackles for the upcoming draft, Sewell there at the very top. And someone who knows a thing or two about recruiting and drafting very talented players, 26-year GM Scott Pioli, some of the notable linemen that he's drafted over the years. And we're going to get his opinion on this year's class. All right, let's welcome in longtime NFL GM, 5-time NFL Executive of the Year, the one and only Scott Pioli. Scott, let's start with Penei Sewell. You have watched thousands and thousands of prospects over the years. Try to put this into perspective for us. How good is he?
He's outstanding. And, you know, I love the way that it was phrased that he's generational and not that he's can't miss, because every time I hear can't miss, a player ends up usually missing. But he is big, he's strong, he's fast, he's physical. Amanda, one of my favorite things about this player, though, is that he has been huge physically and dominant his entire life. And a lot of times when you look at players like that in high school, they take plays off. I even watched some film of this guy on tape in high school, and he just physically dominated people. It was actually tough to watch his opponents at times because he was so physically dominating, but he wasn't a jerk about it. So again, he has all of the tools that you look for, man, in terms of his size, his speed, his length, his athleticism, the balance, and really he truly has power. For such a big man, not all big, long players have explosion in their body, but he certainly has it, Amanda.
6'5", 330. That is very large. All right, let's move on to Ryan Wilson's number 2 offensive tackle behind Penei Sewell. Also opted out of this past season. That would be Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. So I want to ask you what you think of him. How far behind Penei Sewell is he, and what will he bring to a team?
Well, I think he's a little bit, he is far, everyone's behind Penei Sewell, so that's not any kind of disrespect to him at all. But he's also a different type of player. He's not as thick, he's not as explosive, he's not as physical as Sewell. But what I see about Rashawn also is the fact that he can play, I believe, in multiple offenses. There's certain players, again, that can play, they're better for zone schemes, they're better for power. I really think Rashawn Slater can play in multiple offenses. If you go back to his 2019 film against Ohio State, when he lined up against Chase Young, he did extremely well in that game, and you got a chance to see what his upside was. Again, that was 2 years ago. He's a very good athlete. He has very, very good hand placement and timing, and that's important for a player like him because that allows him to actually play a little bit longer with his arms than he might generally be perceived once you measure his arm. And in pass protection, the one thing that I do see is he allows himself to get exposed a little bit to double moves and things that happen to the inside, which is really a reactionary kind of thing, but he has the athleticism. So I believe in time, with more reps, he'll actually get better at that as well, Amanda.
All right, opted out of the season, according to you, needs a couple more reps there. So number 3 on Ryan's board is vera-tucker. His latest mock draft has Slater going 13 overall to the Chargers. vera-tucker just behind him, 14 to the Vikings. So when it comes to Tucker, are we looking at a potential day 1 starter here?
Well, here I believe he has a chance to be a starter, but the thing about him, Amanda, that's a little bit different is he also has experience at the left guard position. Remember, a year ago in 2019, he played left guard and was all Pac-12. I always want to say Pac-10, but he was all Pac-12 as a left guard. This year, he initially decided to opt out, but when the Pac-12 decided to have a shorter season, he said, I was going to come back. When he comes back, they say, oh, by the way, we're going to put you at left tackle. So he had about 400 snaps at left tackle this year. And what's clear about him is not only does he have the physical skills to play both positions, but he's got the mind and the intelligence to be a player that has some versatility. Now, I was with the Baltimore Ravens when we drafted Jonathan Ogden in 1996, and in his rookie year, we had Tony Jones out at the left tackle, so we could actually play Ogden at the left guard that year and let him get a little bit seasoned, get used to the speed of the NFL and the physical presence of defensive linemen in the NFL. And I could see this player doing something like that, where he comes in as a guard, and then they have the flexibility to play him at either guard or tackle in the future.
Some options there for the team that does draft him. All right, on Ryan Wilson's board here of the top offensive tackles going into this year's draft, number 4, Christiandarasaw out of Virginia Tech, 6'5", 315. Scott Pioli, give us your breakdown on him.
Well, again, I see a physically young player. He's got all the tools. He's got the size, the speed, the length, and again, the overall tools to have some upside. But one of the things I really want to see out of him is a little bit more physicality. He's not a player that plays with a great deal of grind. Again, he has all the tools, he has the skills, but as a player, he seems to have some plays where he takes off a little bit. And I want to be careful. Again, he's a young football player, so I'm not over-evaluating this and saying that it's not going to be possible for him. As we see in plays like that, he's happy just finishing it, standing up, rather than really using the physical skills, tools, size, and ability he has to grind a player into the ground. So as he gets more mature as a player and sees what NFL play is like, I think he's going to continue to improve as well, Amanda.
All right, the 5th guy here that Ryan has is Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State, a little bit bigger than Darasaw, 6'6", 320. So give us your feelings on him, what he needs to work on, and do you think we're going to see him in the first round?
Here's what I love about him. I'm not sure if we're going to see him in the first round, because to me, when I look at him, he's a little bit more like an old school right tackle. And what I mean by that is, back in the day, right tackles were more bigger, physical, punishing type of players, and that's his game. That's what I love about him. He has a very good style of play, Amanda, where he gets into players and he is physical. He's willing to be physical. And to me, the one thing that may hold him back is he may be a one-position player, which is right tackle. I don't know if he's going to have the physical ability and footwork and overall athleticism to be a full-time left tackle in the National Football League. But again, he's another player who may have the ability to slide inside, because he does have enough quickness, which again, when you get closer to the ball, the game's a little bit quicker rather than athletic on the outside. So he may have a little bit of inside position flexibility, but for the most part, I think he's going to be more of a right tackle, Amanda.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.